Have you ever truly stopped to contemplate the profound complexity of your existence? We often walk through life convinced that we are the sole architects of our destiny, navigating the world based purely on our free will and visible circumstances. Yet, the truth, as illuminated by the pioneering work of Allan Kardec, is far more intricate and compelling. Our lives are not islands. They are constantly affected, shaped, and guided by a continuous, invisible interaction with the spiritual world. Every second, every major decision, every subtle shift in your mood is influenced by forces unseen. And the most significant of these influences is the constant, powerful presence of your spiritual mentor, your guardian angel, who stands right beside you, urgently trying to make you aware of their guidance. The central essential question is not whether this spiritual ally is attempting to communicate, they are ceaselessly, but whether you have cultivated the sensitivity, the awareness, and the spiritual fortitude to truly perceive, accept, and act upon their communication. If we accept the foundational tenets of Spiritism, as codified by Kardec in works like the Spirit's Book and the Medium's Book, then the notion that we are all, to some degree, channels becomes a self-evident truth. Mediumship is not a rare, spectacular gift reserved for a select few. It is a universal faculty, dormant or active in every human being, allowing us to be either receptive to noble, guiding influences or vulnerable to less evolved, troubling forces. We are, therefore, perpetually under a watch, a protective vigilance from high-vibration entities, or conversely, under a potential attack from lower spirits who seek to exploit our weaknesses. Our immediate mission is to shift your focus from the anxieties of negative influence to the radiant reality of your most powerful, dedicated ally. Today, we will embark on a detailed, deep exploration of the unmistakable signals that prove the constant presence of your spiritual mentor. These signs are not fleeting coincidences. They are orchestrated actions designed to awaken you, to protect you, and to push you toward your ultimate evolutionary purpose. We will analyze these phenomena in three comprehensive categories: the dramatic shifts that occur within your mind, the environmental disturbances that manifest in the world around you, and the undeniable shocks and responses registered in your physical body. By the end of this journey, you will possess a new map for interpreting reality, proving without a shadow of a doubt that you have never and will never walk alone. It is time to stop ignoring the call and to begin the immediate conscious contact with the guide who holds the key to your highest self. The unexpected, powerful surge of intuition is perhaps the most direct and purest form of communication from your spiritual mentor, representing their war cry for your attention. This phenomenon, which Kardec explored extensively as a form of natural inspiration, transcends mere logical deduction or subconscious processing of information. It erupts when your conscious analytical mind is struggling, often when you are completely immersed in a problem, a true mental labyrinth, and are unable to find a viable path forward. It's a moment of intellectual deadlock. Then, suddenly, you are hit by a brand new idea, a radical insight that instantly obliterates your previous flawed line of reasoning and offers a clear, superior alternative. This is not a lucky guess. It is a calculated, loving intervention. Your spiritual guide, being an entity of higher evolutionary status, possesses a panoramic view of your life's journey, recognizing the destructive potential of the dead-end path you were pursuing. They utilize the universal fluid, the primary element of the cosmos, to influence the perispirit, the semi-material body of your soul, and subsequently your brain, injecting a clear, compelling thought directly into your subconscious. This is the mentor actively forcing the issue, performing a subtle, non-violent invasion of your lower consciousness to forcibly extract you from a self-destructive trajectory. It functions as an immediate mental restart, giving you a new operating perspective. The quality of this inspired thought is unmistakable. It is usually accompanied by a feeling of profound rightness, immense calm, and undeniable clarity, even if it contradicts your previous fear-based reasoning. If you have the spiritual courage to seize and implement this sudden new perspective, you are effectively unlocking the precise and most direct route toward the fulfillment of your life's purpose and can trigger explosive, exponential personal growth. Kardec taught that spirits communicate not just through structured conversation, but through the constant transmission of thought and feeling. An elevated mentor transmits thoughts imbued with wisdom, love, and elevation. Therefore, you must learn to recognize and treat these sudden, inspired insights as invaluable spiritual gifts, pieces of wisdom directly from a higher source, that dramatically elevate your understanding of yourself, your mission, and the overarching spiritual reality that perpetually envelops you. Failing to heed this pure form of intuition is often the cause of prolonged suffering and detours in one's life plan. Prepare to have your attention relentlessly targeted and hunted by numbers, as the repeated appearance of specific numerical sequences is a highly technical and unequivocal signal that your spiritual mentor is strongly urging a deeper, more conscious connection. This phenomenon moves beyond simple coincidence and enters the realm of spiritual synchronicity, where the universe is being subtly organized to capture your gaze. If you repeatedly encounter identical number sequences, be they on digital clocks as a mirror hour, e.g. 1111, 2222, repeated digits on license plates, or totals on financial receipts, you must stop. This is far from a random error in the matrix of reality. It is a clear, orchestrated demand for your spiritual awareness. In the spiritual tradition, numbers are considered a language of the universe, holding profound, coded meanings rooted in what is often termed sacred geometry. Your mentor, understanding these universal laws, is using the precise mathematical structure of the cosmos to snap you out of your daily mental inertia and spiritual slumber. The frequency and timing of these sequences are not a gentle, polite invitation. They are a determined, focused tap on your shoulder, a touch of awakening for your dormant, higher consciousness. The recurring numbers serve as anchors, spiritual memoranda, placed strategically across your path. Allan Kardec's studies on the universal fluid and the intelligence of spirits confirm that high spirits can act upon matter and time to serve a specific, positive end. In this case, the end is to initiate a deeper dialogue. Your mentor is actively strengthening the invisible link between you, signaling that they wish for you to move beyond superficial living. They want you to start the crucial work of deciphering the deeper spiritual mysteries that are encoded within these sequences that seem to follow your journey. By observing and researching the traditional or esoteric meaning of the numbers, e.g., 333 for divine support, 444 for spiritual protection, you are engaging in an act of spiritual decryption. This heightened state of perception, this willingness to see the universe as a coded message, is the very thing your guide is seeking to cultivate. Awaken your perception, pay meticulous attention to your surroundings, and accept this explicit invitation to decode the recurring secrets of the universe that punctuate your evolutionary path. We must differentiate between the common fleeting dreams, often a mere reorganization of the day's events or anxieties, and truly significant symbolic dreams that represent deep astral journeys. These profound experiences pulverize the conventional boundaries of your physical body and establish a powerful spiritual link with your mentor. According to the Spiritist teachings on the emancipation of the soul, when you drift into a deep sleep, your perispirit, the energetic vehicle of the spirit, loosens its bond with the physical body, and your spirit gains a measure of freedom to enter the spiritual domain. In this realm, the constraints of the material world are lifted, and your experiences vividly reflect your true spiritual merit, your current level of commitment, and your deepest desire for evolution. It is in these highly charged nocturnal encounters that you come face to face with high-vibration entities, disincarnate spirits of high moral and intellectual enlightenment, who are dedicated to your continuous orientation and guidance. These are genuine spiritual classrooms and crucial meetings concerning your life plan. You might be receiving lessons, undertaking tasks, or engaging in profound consultations that prepare you for future challenges. Often, upon awakening, the memories of these encounters return to your conscious mind only as confusing, fragmented flashes, or perhaps as a strong, unexplained emotion, such as a sense of deep peace or a powerful motivation to change. Despite the fragmentation, you must learn to recognize the inherent power and significance of these moments. They stand as irrefutable proof that your true existence extends far beyond the confines of the matter you inhabit. Your mentor is, in essence, taking you to intensive, personalized spiritual classes in the extra-physical plane. The quality of your actions, thoughts, and intentions during your waking life determines the quality of the company you keep in the spiritual domain at night. By striving for moral excellence, you naturally tune yourself to meet guides and instructors of the highest caliber. Thus, paying attention to the emotional residue, the recurring symbols, and the overall narrative tone of your most vivid dreams is not a passive act. It is an active participation in your own spiritual schooling, proving that your guidance is continuous even when you are physically at rest. The final, most dramatically compelling signal manifesting within your mind is the spontaneous vision. These intense flashes of spiritual sight do not follow a set schedule. They violently explode into your awareness during moments of high psychic or emotional peak, be it during a moment of maximum, focused meditation, a period of deep, uninterrupted reflection, or sometimes, paradoxically, during moments of extreme emotional tension. It is imperative to understand that, when genuine, these are not mere optical illusions, neurological anomalies, or products of a suggestible mind. They are concrete visionary experiences that momentarily and brutally tear the veil of common sensory perception. Your spiritual mentor is intentionally opening an immediate, undeniable window onto a level of reality that exists well beyond the simple, limited grasp of the material world. Kardec's teaching on the phenomenon of lucidity, or spontaneous mediumship, explains that the mentor acts upon the medium's perispirit to momentarily expand its perceptive capacity, allowing the spirit to see what the physical eyes cannot. These visions vary widely in their form and complexity. They can range from simple, immediate bursts of pure, undifferentiated light to the clear apparition of powerful spiritual figures, or highly symbolic, ciphered scenes that require subsequent interpretation. At their most profound, they can induce states of totally expanded consciousness, offering a holistic understanding of a complex issue in a fraction of a second. The most defining characteristic of these flashes is the profound, immediate, and unshakable certainty they inject into your soul, a certainty of an absolute connection to something infinitely vast and true. They do not merely offer information, they force you into a deeper spiritual understanding of your place in the cosmos. This is the mentor's ultimate technique for showing you the naked, unvarnished truth, moving far beyond any subjective opinion or conventional, limited perception you have ever experienced. They are not asking you to believe, they are making you see. When such a vision occurs, it is a call to action, demanding that you immediately integrate that revealed truth into your daily life and moral conduct, as the mentor is confirming a vital truth that you must now embody. When your spiritual mentor seeks to prove their immediate presence and capture your attention through the environment, they can employ a subtle yet palpable manipulation of the universal fluid, resulting in a sudden, sharp, and localized drop in temperature. While popular media often associates abrupt cold with lower, frightening entities, in the context of high-level spiritual guidance, the meaning is far more nuanced. For a spirit to interact with the material environment to produce a physical effect, they must absorb and manipulate a measure of energy, often the ectoplasm or vital fluid present in the atmosphere, or directly from a medium present. The act of absorption or concentration of this fluid to create a visible or palpable effect can be accompanied by a temporary, localized chilling of the air. This sudden, often goosebump-inducing alteration in the ambient temperature is not mere chance. It can, in fact, be the calculated and controlled approach of your spiritual guide. They strategically use the sensation of cold as a method, a delicate yet profoundly impactful one, to literally freeze your attention, compelling you to pause whatever you are doing and become fully present to the spiritual reality that is now intensely near. The change in temperature is often less about the spirit's innate energy, which is purer and higher than ours, and more about their focused intention to inject a message of deep significance into your consciousness. By using the environment to command your focus, they ensure that your mind stops its frantic activity and opens a clear channel for the transmission of thought and feeling. A crucial point in Kardec's studies is discernment. The phenomenon itself, the cold, can be the same, but the sensation that follows defines the source. When a mentor causes this, the chill may be quickly followed by a rush of calm, a feeling of security, a sudden thought of profound love, or a sense that you should stop a detrimental action. The environment becomes the stage, but your spirit is the final interpreter, discerning the high-frequency intent from a low-frequency disturbance through the moral quality of the feeling induced. In the constant, detailed communication between the spiritual world and the physical world, the manipulation of energy is key. Given the ubiquitous nature of modern life, the most accessible and sensitive energy in your environment is often electricity. The erratic, intermittent flickering of light bulbs, often referred to as flickering, is arguably the most common yet frequently misinterpreted sign of spiritual interference. The electricity that powers a light bulb operates with a constant, measurable frequency and flow. A spirit, utilizing the surrounding spiritual fluids, ectoplasm, has the ability to directly interfere with this flow, acting as a momentary energy modulator. It is akin to them introducing a small temporary induction or fault in the electrical current, which requires less spiritual energy than, say, physically moving a heavy piece of furniture. Your spiritual mentor, a being of light and high purpose, employs this flicker as a persistent, gentle tap on your awareness, a soft, insistent call to attention. Their intent is never to startle or induce panic, but to cause you to pause and reflect. For example, a light might begin its rhythmic blinking at the precise moment you are wrestling with a crucial decision, or when you are thinking about a person who is urgently in need of prayer or help. The feeling that accompanies this specific manifestation, when sourced from a mentor, is one of distinct calm, spiritual well-being, or the sudden, unearned clarity we discussed earlier. Your consciousness is subtly elevating its own vibration to better receive and understand the silent, energetic message being conveyed through the disrupted light. However, this phenomenon introduces a complex dual alert that Kardec warned about. A lower vibration, potentially obsessor spirit can utilize the exact same physical mechanism. The distinction is in the intent and the resultant feeling. A lower spirit's flicker may be more violent, ceaseless, and often results in the immediate burnout of the bulb. Their goal is to inject tension, fear, and chaos into the environment, feeding on the low vibration energy that results. The feeling that accompanies their interference is one of oppressive weight, inexplicable irritation, or a sudden, irrational fear. Therefore, the physical event is only the beginning. The quality of your internal emotional response is the undeniable signature of the spirit involved. The erratic behavior of electronic devices, your cell phone ringing inexplicably, the radio suddenly switching on in the dead of night, or the television abruptly shutting down without a logical cause, represents another layer of spiritual interaction with the physical realm. While high-vibration mentors rarely utilize these dramatic events, which require considerable energy and often cause undue alarm, they can be a signature of lower-frequency spirits seeking an energy source or a way to sow disorder in the environment. Many disincarnate spirits of lower order have found that modern technology, operating as it does on complex wave frequencies and electromagnetic fields, provides a convenient bridge for interference. They are essentially looking for an open door, a vulnerability created by your reduced spiritual vigilance. This might occur when you are consuming media that stimulates base emotions such as anger, gossip, or envy, effectively tuning your mind to their negative frequency. Another common vulnerability is mediumistic fatigue, where an individual's mediumistic energy is depleted, leaving their energetic field vulnerable to external influence. When a spiritual guide does use an electronic device, it is almost invariably brief, precise, and informational. A mentor might cause an alarm to ring at exactly the right time to wake you for an urgent moment of prayer or a necessary task. The action is protective and timed with surgical precision. Conversely, a lower spirit's intent is to provoke terror and disorganization. This technological chaos feeds into a larger pattern of anxiety. The spiritual mechanism remains the same, manipulation of energy, but the intention is destructive. Kardec emphasized that the best defense is not external rituals, but internal fortitude. To close this door, the individual must engage in continuous moral reform, ensuring their thoughts, words, and actions are consistently aligned with the highest spiritual principles, thus raising their personal frequency beyond the reach of those who would exploit electronic bridges for negative ends. Moving beyond the energetic manipulation of electricity, we observe subtle yet equally revealing signs of environmental manipulation that do not involve the dramatic falling of objects. These are the persistent signs of instability and misalignment, where the spirit is attempting to breach the harmony of your immediate space. This includes the phenomenon of misaligned picture frames, where a picture on the wall, regardless of how many times you meticulously straighten it, keeps returning to a slight tilt. This can be a conscious effort by a spirit to disrupt the visual harmony and peace of the environment, creating a subliminal, nagging sense of unease. Look also for the occurrence of inexplicable minor cracks and fractures in delicate objects or plaster walls that appear suddenly, seemingly out of nowhere. This is the spirit literally impressing a physical tension onto the environment, manifesting a sense of pressure or breakage that mirrors an internal spiritual conflict. Another common, highly communicative sign is the subtle misalignment of personal objects, such as a book inexplicably falling from a shelf without the shelf being physically touched. Often, upon inspecting the fallen book, you realize it relates directly to a spiritual or life theme you have been consciously avoiding, or that you urgently need to study for your current progression. Your spiritual mentor, being a master of high-frequency communication, utilizes the brute force manipulation of matter only when they are absolutely certain that the subtlety of intuition and synchronous numbers has failed, and the urgency of the message is paramount. While they rarely use this to frighten, they can use it to pinpoint a vital need. For instance, causing a specific book to fall is a targeted, silent, and undeniable instruction. However, if this environmental interference becomes a pervasive pattern of chaos, inexplicable fear, and small destruction, the origin is likely inferior. The ultimate lesson here, drawn from Kardec's work, is that vigilance is your primary defense. You must learn not to react solely to the physical phenomenon, but to respond immediately to the underlying sensation. Your mentor desires your peace and your spiritual progress. The obsessor desires your energy and your spiritual imbalance. The spontaneous movement and, more dramatically, the falling of objects represent the most explicit and challenging form of proof of the spiritual world's physical interaction with matter. This phenomenon is classified within Spiritism as a manifestation of physical effects mediumship, to cause a picture frame, a glass, or a book to fall, interacting with the density of a physical object. The spirit requires a massive, sustained concentration of ectoplasm, often drawing this vital energy from a medium or sensitive individual present in the vicinity. This level of physical force is a costly expenditure of spiritual energy. It is crucial for a mature understanding to recognize the dual nature of this signal. In the vast majority of cases, the falling of objects is a clear physical manifestation of obsession or the presence of a suffering, disoriented, or lower frequency spirit, what is often popularly and sometimes mistakenly termed a poltergeist phenomenon of low intensity. The intention of such spirits is unambiguous: to create immediate shock, a dramatic event designed to startle and instantly destabilize the incarnate individual, throwing them into a state of panic or fear. This violent warning, often accompanied by breaking or loud noises, is used to demand attention or express intense spiritual anger and pain. The energy of the shock, panic, or confusion generated by the event is, unfortunately, the preferred nourishment for the obsessor. If an object breaks or falls and you are immediately overwhelmed by a sensation of dread, despondency, or sudden, inexplicable rage, there is little doubt this is a negative interference, a direct assault on your inner peace and spiritual equilibrium. However, the rare intervention of the high mentor must be considered. Mentors of high moral hierarchy are masters of subtlety. Intuition, dreams, and repeating numbers are their chosen forms of communication. They very rarely resort to the brute force of causing objects to fall. Yet in extreme, critically urgent circumstances, where all subtle forms of spiritual guidance have been ignored and your physical life or your overarching spiritual mission is in imminent, life-threatening peril, a mentor may permit or even employ a less perfect spirit under their direction to execute a physical manifestation. The purpose is not to terrorize, but to force an immediate, absolute pause or to deliver an unmissable alert. The classic example is an object falling in a precise location that physically prevents you from taking a step that would have led to an accident. The event is undeniably physical and startling, but the immediate ultimate result is protection. In this exceptional circumstance, although there is the initial shock, the sensation that rapidly takes root is one of profound relief, undeniable protection, or deep gratitude. The timing of the event is surgical and protective, not chaotic and destructive. The ultimate test remains the moral quality of the result. The final and perhaps most visceral category of signals involves direct physical sensations, where the spiritual interaction is so tangible that your body cannot help but react. This level of physical manifestation is intrinsically tied to your level of mediumistic energy, as the spirit must draw close and act directly upon your nervous system or even penetrate your energy field. Perispirit. The most explicit form is the explicit spiritual touch. You may clearly feel the distinct sensation of being touched by an unseen hand, a brush against your skin, or a light pressure on your shoulder or back. This contact is a direct energetic statement of proximity. Another powerful manifestation is the intense, inexplicable tingling sensation, often concentrated in the arms, legs, or back of the neck. This sensation is caused by the spirit's energy actively engaging and stimulating your peripheral nervous system. It is a direct signal that a foreign conscious energy is right next to you, operating within your field. Perhaps the most dramatic physiological response is the accelerated heart pulse. A sudden, unexplained increase in your cardiac frequency is often the physical body's response to a brutal, concentrated energetic load that the spirit is transmitting. Your body, sensing a massive shift in the energetic equilibrium, goes into an alert mode. This is where discernment is paramount. If the spirit is your mentor, this heart-pounding experience will be instantly followed by a feeling of profound comfort, unshakable assurance, or an immediate, exhilarating peak of well-being and heightened clarity. The energy is high, but the quality of the energy is healing and uplifting. Conversely, if the proximity is that of an inferior, low-frequency spirit, the heart acceleration will be accompanied by an immediate, unpleasant, and suffocating sensation, often tied to anxiety, a sense of heavy oppression, or sudden, irrational fear. Kardec's foundational teaching on this topic is the ultimate warning. Lower spirits and obsessors can only achieve this level of physical proximity and influence because you, through consistent low thoughts, empty, careless words, and destructive attitudes, are actively opening the door for them. You are, in effect, personally inviting the attack. The body's reaction is a maximum alert that your current moral and mental state is dangerously vulnerable. The question then becomes, how do you completely block the negative assault and amplify the presence and support of your spiritual mentor? The answer is not found in external rituals, protective amulets, or complex rites. The answer lies in the intense, continuous internal struggle that you must win every single day. What Spiritism terms inner reform, reforma intima. This concept, central to the moral teachings derived from Kardec, is the spiritual foundation of self-mastery and defense. Those who deeply immerse themselves in the journey of self-perfection, those who relentlessly work to identify and correct their own moral flaws, such as pride, envy, selfishness, and impatience, are actively fortifying their spiritual home. The consistent practice of gospel in the home, Evangelio no Lar, a weekly meeting for study, reflection, and prayer held in the domestic environment, creates an impenetrable high-vibration energetic shield. This shield naturally and automatically repels obsessing spirits who cannot tolerate the light and harmony, and simultaneously acts as a powerful, luminous beacon that irresistibly attracts your dedicated spiritual guides and mentors. The work is constant. Maintain an uncompromising, relentless vigilance over every single thought that crosses the threshold of your mind, every word that prepares to leave your lips, and every impulse that precedes your action. The thought is the seed of the action, and a low-vibration thought is the initial invitation to a low-vibration spirit. By rigorously filtering your mental landscape, ensuring your thoughts are consistently charitable, hopeful, and constructive, you achieve two vital objectives. First, you multiply the supportive visits and aid of your mentor as they find a harmonious, receptive environment. Second, and equally important, you reduce the opportunities for interference from any negative force to zero, as they can no longer find a point of resonance. If you have yet to feel the clear, undeniable signs of your mentor, the path is clear. Begin the work of elevating your vibration now. The decision rests entirely with you to remain a victim of circumstance and spiritual vulnerability, or to become a vigilant, empowered master of your inner world. We have presented you with the map to spiritual truth and practical discernment. If you have truly absorbed the power inherent in these teachings, the least you can do is ensure this vital message explodes into the world, reaching those who are lost or suffering in silent confusion. Do not hoard this essential knowledge solely for yourself. The great teachings of Allan Kardec and the spiritual reality they describe are meant for all humanity. Subscribe to this channel immediately. Press the like button to amplify this message, and let us work together to propagate these essential, life-changing lessons. Your journey is supported. Your guide is present. May strength, vigilance, and the guiding light accompany your path always.